Hello, my name is Ethan, and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile Scourge League 3.16. In this episode, I'm doing a versus between the Vaal Molten shell, it could be normal Molten shell too, and the Immortal call. Because I've been running Immortal call in my builds for the last year, I finally have revisited Molten shell with high armor, and I have a video going over the verses of when to use Molten Shell over Immortal Call and when not to. There's actually cases where this doesn't work the way you would expect, and it's the reason we haven't been using it this entire time, even though it's so powerful. And so I'd like to show you the two differences in this. Real quick, before I break down the math though, I'd like to explain. I think one person will ask this question, and this will be useful for them. They will say, why do you keep your casting damage taken level 1, and why Immortal Call level 3, and why the Molten Shell level 10? So I do level 1 casting damage taken because I want it to trigger easily, and so off of 528 damage it'll trigger, which is easy, and then it can only trigger a level 38 gem or lower because I did a level 1 casting damage taken, and so then it's just whatever level the gem is that's under level 38, and it's the max level under 38. So level 10 for Molten Shell is 36, so if we go one more, it goes to 40, it passes the 38, we can't do it, so we have to do 10, and this one, level 3 is 38, and we can't go to the next one because it goes to 40. So and then you have to keep them 38 or lower, and then link them with the thing, and boom. And they go in order for the casting damage taken, but there's only one, and we don't actually link both. This is to show you now. So I'm going to show you guys in my actual build. This is my current Carrion Golem Necromancer in the season 3.16 day 8 or something. With all our stuff, you know, we have the armor, we have in 16,753 apparently on POB. What was my in-game? 14,840. Is it higher? How is it higher? Is it Molten Shell? Yeah. 14,840 is just like in-game. So the Molten Shell gives you armor, and so like I pointed out, that armor equates to 1,913, and that's just in my build where I don't even have that much increased armor. 82. We could have way more easily, and then that's 2% physical damage reduction just from the armor. But this is against no hit, so don't actually take that as like 2%. Just that's 1,900 armor. Okay. Now the real stuff. You're like, how are we gonna compare it? So we have this POB calculations. So this is with nothing, with neither guard skill. 22,000. Ignore the physical because it's against no hit. Like I said, if you put let me just show you 11,000. Look at the hit you can take now. So we should probably put it at 6,600 just so we can survive the hit. There you go. There, sure. Okay, so now we have 15,000, 23,000, 23,000, and you can see the one hit 17,000 and 7,800. Okay, so if we did our old setup with Immortal Call, we up our tankiness to 10,000 and 23,000 to the one hit, and 31,000 to effective hit pool for 1 second, basically, right? Because for the 1 second we have the Immortal Call. So that you can see how 26% less is insane, and we didn't actually need the chaos because we already cap our chaos. It's already good, especially like this is already overkill probably for most builds. And so then we don't need the less chaos damage. But technically, with this Molten Shell, it does work. So here we go. Now we apply the Molten Shell. So Molten Shell, we go up to 39,000 across the board. And our physical went to 23. So our max hit taking can go to 14,652 instead of, you saw we had 6,000 before, 7,000. That's why I did the hit. Now it's 14,652. And what was it with Immortal Call? 10,000. So yeah, that's massive. That's massive. It's like 40% more basically of effective hit points for physical. And similar to the other ones too. It's just a massive, like, you'll feel it immediately, guys. This is what I'm trying to say. you should definitely do this. And now that we know the difference, the one thing that it doesn't work for, we can play around that. I just didn't. I thought it didn't work on a lot of things, but the fact that it's volatile flame blood, okay, that we can do stuff about that. That's fine. We can play the game, but that's crazy that it doesn't work on that. And then it's so strong, and that's with the current armor. And so now, guys, that's just with the determination free armor setup, basically, right? Okay, let me show you this now. So if you do, I added a quartz flask with, no, wait, where is it? I didn't add it. Let me add it in. It was my other POB. I add in the jade flask that I have on in my inventory. Jade flask. It has increased armor, so we can get more armor. Then we can grant it. We get more armor. So we go to 24. This is what happens when we're killing in the mapping and it's going really smooth and everything's up. And so this is best case scenario. Well, not exactly, but this is just for armor, just for the buff. Okay, so here I'll show you. Went from 39 to 54. Like, oh my god, that buff is huge, man. That buff can be massive. And that's what I was saying about maybe building some more armor. And so then you could use it for the full duration, the full three seconds. But then you have a cooldown of 4 seconds. But then you could technically also play the game where if you're doing something hard. Okay, so for example, Scourge. You could go in, get hit for the 3-second molten shell. And then you could go out once it ran out and then wait for the cooldown and go back in. Similar to the Vaal Molten shell, which is an even longer duration. It has a 10.8. My normal one is actually 3.6 because I got what is it called? Oh, I have some increased skill effect duration, increased skill effect duration for free. So we get this 54 minion damage here. And they added 20 skill effect duration to Enduring Bond, which is actually insane. To put this into perspective, how insane this skill effect duration is, we have 45 on Potency of Will, whole entire cluster. It's crazy, dude. I kind of want this. Like, dude, this together looks so good now. Potency with Necromantic Ages. Oh my god. Because then you have the skill effect duration. You could get the more skill effect duration. And then if you went cooldown recovery too, you could. This could be insane. This could be so powerful. You'd basically be immortal. And it's just armor stacking molten shell. Okay, so I also did this. We took off determination for a sec. So we have 3,230. And then this is the physical elemental 17 without anything. So again, to show, if we did I want to compare Molten Shell with 3,000 armor, basically. It would take us to 26 and 13. Now to show the Immortal Call in the same setup, it's 13 and 33, and then 26. So it doesn't affect the chaos. And then also this is technically only a 1 second duration, so it's more for like a volatile flame blood rather than like constant damage. So like shotgunning for a while, like 1 second is kind of short. 3 seconds is pretty good. But yeah, you can see that this is actually tankier because our other one would have been 26, 13. This is 33. So Immortal Call is actually sick, like I knew. And then if we try both the things, we go up to 7,000. So best case scenario of our old setup with without determination, 38. So okay, with everything up, with 7,000, 9,000 armor when you get the Vaal, when you get the Immortal Call, the Molten Shell, it's more, and it's a little bit more. So that's quite a bit of armor you need to make this work. It seems to be over 6,000 or something to be better than the Immortal Call. But then it also has the longer duration, and then you have the Vaal Molten Shell aspect. So that's cool, and this is pretty neat overall. Like I said, the fact, the big main difference Volatile Flame Blood doesn't work for Molten Shell, but it does work for Immortal Call, so that's a big diff. And so I'll be using Immortal Call for AFK Blight, but I will now... Oh, this is something else I found. I'll also... Yeah, so I'll be using this for the mapping now and everything else. But this is huge. Okay, so you may have seen in-game... Oh, I got something selling. Gotta make that money. I was trying to change a helmet in influence to Elder using Harvest. I failed twice. So now I'm just reselling the helmet I made 8C, apparently, by waiting, being patient. So my last thing is another benefit of Molten Shell that I didn't know before until using it and looking at it now, comparing it, right? Okay, so mana. 12. What? It only costs 12? How much is Molten Shell? 23. Dude, they really hate Immortal Call. They really hate this. And so this is literally Volatile Flame Blood. So in my setup, Immortal Call, cast and damage taken, I can show you it. It's kind of fun that you can do this. It's 57 mana, and I have 59. So when I go AFK in a Blight, I won't be using the Offering, the Desecrate, the Phase Runner, the Flame Dash, or any of this, right? So 59 mana to use the 57. It's perfect for the Volatile Flame Blood, and that's without the Righteous Decree. I finally switched to Ravenous Horde, guys. I upgraded PogChamp, and so Immortal Call will work for the Blight, and that's at 94. The Molten Shell, on the other hand, only costs 30. So when I'm mapping and I'm using 30 on my cast and damage taken, I use 16 on my phase run, and we're good. That's it. We also have 35 on the Flesh Offering, so we can't use both at the same time, but we recover the mana fairly quickly, and I haven't had many issues. 31 a second is literally the whole Molten Shell back in a second, and it has a 4-second cooldown, and it has a 3-second duration, so it's 1 of 7, so there's only 16% of the time that I have not enough mana to cast the Flesh Offering, basically. Or it's not even that bad. It's not even as bad as 16%. So 80-something percent uptime of my mana for the Flesh Offering, which doesn't even matter because it'll just say not enough mana, but it doesn't actually stop me, which is even better. Like I don't try to cast it. It's an instant. It says no mana, and you continue to move. So it doesn't do the cast time of 0.89. So you're fine. Yep. Nice. I love this comparison. I was happy to test this, and now we have this new addition to the build. This is massive. This is huge. It's so impactful. And dude, I haven't used Vaal Molten Shell since the old days, since they nerfed it, basically. And now we're armor stacking, and we have a Vaal Molten Shell, and it's thick as... Dude, why is it only half the buff damage taken from the buff from the normal Molten Shell? That's insane, though. That's half as good. Because even if the shield's huge, it only it's actually worse. I don't know, it's crazy. That's nutty. But this is really cool, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Nice. And now I know there will be that one person who asks me, Ethan, I want the exact breakpoint of when to swap from Immortal Call to Molten Shell. And now this will only be based on the effective HP and not based on the duration. So technically the Molten Shell is even better because it has the 3-second duration, which is triple the duration of the Molten Shell. And it also covers Chaos, but then Volatile Flame Blood. So now we go into it. So here we have 7,000 armor. Let me show you. It's 33,000 against the hit with 13,500, which is the same as the Immortal Call now. So let me show you. Ta-da! So now you see that the armor with the level 10 Molten Shell is 7,156. Without is 5,960. So it's exactly like I predicted based on seeing the 9,000. I was like, it looks like it's going to be 6. And I was right. Because it's just a percentage of the armor, and then 75% of the hit of your HP. And yeah, so it seemed right. So boom, 6,000. I was pretty much dead on. But then, like I said, 3-second duration. You also gain armor during the duration, so that's also cool. You have a Vaal Molten shell, but the main difference is volatile flame blood. That's crazy, dude. How is that a thing? I wonder if they'll change it. Is this intended? Volatile flame blood. Dude, it's crazy. But that 7,000, 6,000, 7,000, that's pretty good. That's not that bad. Especially how easy it is to get armor in 3.16. It seems like Molten Shell is the meta if you armor stack for sure. Nice. So, a final conclusion is pretty simple. I'm going to be using the Molten Shell, Vaal Molten Shell most of the time. It's really, really strong. Really, really impactful. Like I said, after the 6,000 armor, 7,000 armor, permanent without... That was with a flask up, so it'd be better if you had that without a flask up, so it's permanent, consistent. Then it's definitely better than Immortal Call. And then you can use Immortal Call for AFK Blight. I highly recommend that. I will be doing that. I will switch to Immortal Call because... It doesn't matter if you get a big shield and you have this big effective HP. If you get one-shotted by a volatile flame blood, your AFK Blight's ruined. So it's as simple as that. We need that 26% less. There may even now be actually a better... Maybe I should do level 20 casting damage taken with a level 20 Immortal Call just because I'm only using it for the volatile flame blood for the AFK Blight. But I guess technically a monster attacking me can still trigger the Immortal Call in an AFK Blight, which is good, and I get the 26% less. I still have a guard skill. It's not useless besides the volatile flame bloods, but it could be the case that setting it to a higher than I get 30%, 33% from the higher level Immortal Calls. So I'll show you here. Technically, you could set this to level 20, but then it would require the level 20 casting damage taken, which requires more damage. And then this isn't a physical, so it doesn't scale with the physical scaling gem thing that we do. And so to do the level 20 casting damage taken, it would take 3,272 damage, which we only have 4,000 life. But technically, because this triggers on the volatile flame blood, it should work that it would reduce the damage. And then this isn't even as much as HP we have. So if the volatile flame blood is more than this, it'll trigger and it should reduce it. And you can also do it was this one, right? Divergent, and it requires 20% less. So instead of, it doesn't tell you. Instead of 3,000, it would be 20% less. And so we could do some fun stuff with that and get 34% less LE because we're only volatile flame blood is my main. Wow, that's so crazy. I didn't expect to figure this out. It took me a year. Well, we did it. Nice. Now, thank you to my Patreon, my YouTube members who financially support the channel. I can't do this without you guys, so thank you guys for all the support, and thank you to anyone who joins the Patreon and the YouTube members today, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.